Most people think they know how to study. You grab your notes, read them over and over, highlight the important parts, maybe rewrite them neatly, and hope that somehow when the exam or meeting comes, your brain will magically remember it all. You've probably done this for years, in school, college, and even in your professional life. But here's a secret that will change how you see learning forever. The way most people study is broken. It's like trying to pour water into a bucket full of. You put in the effort, but most of it slips away, leaving you scrambling to remember just enough to survive the test. And here's the part nobody tells you. This isn't your fault. It's not because you're lazy, easily distracted, or not smart enough. The problem is that you've been taught the wrong way to study since childhood. Schools rarely teach you how to learn. They just throw information at you and expect you to figure it out. Meanwhile, the people who excel, the ones at elite institutions like Harvard, have discovered a different way. They don't just work harder, they work smarter, using study systems that are rooted in neuroscience, backed by research, and fine-tuned to make every hour of effort count for 3. Think about what this means for you. Imagine walking into a test, a business meeting, or even a casual conversation, and recalling every detail you need, confidently, instantly, without second-guessing yourself. Imagine learning a new language in half the time, remembering names and faces effortlessly, or picking up a new skill so fast that people start asking, how do you do that? That's the power of studying the way Harvard's top students do. It's not just about getting better grades. It's about rewiring your brain to learn faster, remember longer, and perform better in every area of life. There are 4 techniques that Harvard students use again and again to make this happen. The Feynman technique, spaced repetition, active recall, and the 50-to-10 focus rule. They may sound simple at first, but when you understand the science behind them and how to apply them, you'll see why they're so powerful and why once you start using them, you'll never go back to your old ways. Let's start with the Feynman technique. Richard Feynman wasn't just a Nobel Prize-winning physicist. He was famous for being able to explain mind-bending concepts in a way that even someone with zero science background could understand. His secret? He believed that if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it. Harvard students take this principle and apply it to everything they learn. Here's how it works. Choose a topic you're studying and grab a blank sheet of paper. Write the topic at the top. Now pretend you're teaching a curious 12-year-old who knows nothing about the subject. Explain it in the simplest possible terms, using clear examples and analogies. No jargon, no complicated sentences, just plain, everyday language. As you try to do this, you'll hit spots where you get stuck or have to glance back at your notes. Those moments are gold. They reveal the gaps in your understanding, the exact areas you need to work on. Go back, study those areas, then try again. Each time you repeat the process, your explanation becomes clearer, your understanding deeper, and your memory stronger. You're not just memorizing facts, you're building a mental model of how everything fits together. That's why this method works so well. It transforms passive knowledge into active mastery. The second technique is spaced repetition, and it's all about fighting your brain's natural tendency to forget. Psychologists have known for over a century that we forget new information quickly unless we review it. The forgetting curve shows that within 24 hours, you can lose up to 70% of what you learned unless you revisit it at the right times. Harvard students don't try to cram everything into one marathon session. Instead, they space out their reviews over days and weeks. For example, they might review a topic today, then again in 2 days, then a week later, then 2 weeks later, then a month later. Each review strengthens the neural pathways for that knowledge, making it more durable and easier to recall. The beauty of spaced repetition is that it focuses your time on the things you're most likely to forget, which makes it incredibly efficient. You don't waste time rereading what you already know well. You target the weak spots at just the right moments. And thanks to technology, you don't have to remember the schedule yourself. Apps like Anki and Quizlet use algorithms to decide when to show you each flashcard based on how well you remember it. Over time, the things you've reviewed multiple times move into your long-term memory, where they can stay for years. This is why medical students who have to memorize thousands of terms swear by it, and why you should too. The third method is active recall, and this is where most people unknowingly sabotage their own learning. The standard approach to studying is passive. You read your notes, highlight important points, maybe reread them a few times, and hope that repetition will make it stick. But here's the thing. Just because you've seen the information doesn't mean you can recall it when you need it. Harvard students flip the script. Instead of asking, how can I put more information into my brain? They ask, how can I pull information out of my brain? That's what active recall is, testing yourself without looking. You might close your book and try to write down everything you remember. You might answer questions, explain the topic aloud, or even quiz yourself with flashcards. The key is that you're retrieving the information from memory, not rereading it. This active retrieval strengthens the memory far more than passive review. The first time you try it, you might be surprised at how much you don't remember. But that's exactly why it works. Those gaps show you what to focus on, and the struggle of recalling makes your brain work harder, which cements the knowledge. Which finally, there's the 50 to 10 focus rule. Even the smartest students can't maintain laser-sharp focus for hours on end. Concentration is like a muscle. It gets tired, and when it does, your efficiency plummets. The 50 to 10 rule is simple but powerful. You work in intense, distraction-free bursts of 50 minutes, followed by a 10-minute break. During those 50 minutes, you commit fully. No phone, no notifications, no multitasking. You give your brain a single task and your full attention. Then, during your 10-minute break, you step away completely. Stretch, walk around, drink some water, get some fresh air. Don't scroll on your phone. That floods your brain with new information and cancels out the rest you're supposed to be getting. This rhythm of deep work and deliberate rest keeps your mental energy high for hours without the burnout or mental fog that comes from pushing through exhaustion. It also trains you to focus on a skill that will serve you in every area of life. Now here's the real magic. When you combine all 4 techniques, they create a system that's far greater than the sum of its parts. You start with the Feynman technique to understand the topic at a deep level. You use active recall to test yourself and find weak spots. You schedule those weak spots into a spaced repetition system so you review them just as you're about to forget. And you use the 50 to 10 rule to manage your energy and keep your brain performing at its peak. The result? You can learn in hours what used to take you days. You remember the information not just for the exam, but for years. And you build the kind of confidence that comes from truly mastering a subject. This isn't just theory. Countless Harvard students and top performers in every field rely on these methods to absorb massive amounts of information without losing their sanity. But here's the thing. Knowing about these techniques isn't enough. You have to use them. The reason they work so well is that they align with how your brain actually learns and remembers. If you've ever felt like you're putting in more effort than the results show, these methods are your way out. They'll save you time, reduce your stress, and make learning feel rewarding again. You've been studying the wrong way for years, maybe even decades, but starting today, you can study the Harvard way. And once you see the difference, you'll never go back.